Hey everyone, welcome back to the Midlife Edit. It's Jen, your host here today, and today you're about to listen to an interview that I had with Rocha. She is the founder and CEO of a hormonal health supplement company called Ladywell. So stay tuned, listen to the end. She gives you a promo code for her amazing supplements, but we talk a lot about hormonal health and perimenopause and what we can do to help our symptoms. So without further ado, here's my interview with Miss Ashley. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Midlife Edit podcast. I'm your host, Jen Weinstein, and today I have hormonal health expert, entrepreneur, mother of two, and founder and CEO of Ladywell, Ashley Rocha. Ashley, welcome to the Midlife Edit.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Absolutely. So last week we talked on the podcast about perimenopause, and I feel like it was the perfect segue to have you on. A lot of my listeners are in midlife, obviously, and didn't really know what perimenopause was or if they were in it. So I figured let's talk about hormone health and maybe what inspired you to start Ladywell.
Yeah, so I began Ladywell. It's really a mission-driven company. It was born out of my own hormonal health struggles. When I was in puberty, since that day all the way up to my mid-30s, I was just in this constant roller coaster of hormonal struggles, I would say. Every month, I just had these huge fluctuations in mood, easy to anger, PMS dialed up. I went to the doctor. They told me hormonal birth control, SSRIs. They told me it was normal. I really didn't know any difference. So I just went along with my life. And really, I was just suffering for 2 decades with PMDD without really knowing it and really understanding even what hormonal health was and how to take care of my hormones. There was just no information on it. And it was around my mid 30s when I started trying to get pregnant and struggled getting pregnant that I was like, okay, I really want babies. Like, there's obviously something off with my hormones. I started putting the pieces together, really diving into that world. And I realized I've been struggling with PMDD unnecessarily. I didn't have to be battling those symptoms. Fertility, also something in my control. So I'm a trained herbalist. I was studying herbalism anyways, so I knew the power of plants in the plant world. And so I really started diving into that for women's health, especially my hormonal health. And with that, I was able to find all these amazing ingredients that really changed my life. Like within 6 months, my PMDD was just lessening and lessening and eventually just kind of went away. And I had been struggling with that for so long. It affected my relationships, my productivity at work, everything. And eventually I was also able to get pregnant with 2 baby boys after having, tried for so long with no success, even though I was doing all the right things, like as I thought I was doing. So I was really able to get my hormonal health under control. But it took me so long to get to that spot. It took me so much digging and education of myself. And that information was so hard to find. And luckily that the conversation is changing. Like, on TikTok, there's videos about cycle syncing and all this. It's easier to find this information. I grew up at a time where social media was in its infancy. So luckily women have more resources these days, but we still have so far to go. Women, for the most part, don't understand hormonal health, what that means just in general in terms of their whole life and beyond fertility even. So I created Ladywell to bring the products that I found successful for me to market so other people have access to them easily. It's not hard to find this information. I strive to create like informational videos on YouTube and social media to help women and just continue this conversation and the change in women's health.
Absolutely. I mean, our stories are different, but very similar when it comes to doctors and telling you, hey, just take some hormonal birth control and you're going to be fine.
Yes.
Yeah. And 41 years later, I wasn't. So how does Ladywell differentiate itself from maybe other hormonal health things that are on the market? Because like you said, we are starting to talk about it now, and that's really great. But with that also comes a lot of fake stuff. So how do you set yourself apart?
That's a really good question. The supplement industry is like the wild, wild west. So you can really sell anything to a certain degree in America. So it's really important to shop smartly for supplements. And I'll get into that in a second. But the reason why our brand is so different than other brands is because we formulate really holistically. Our formulations are really robust. You need so many different things for hormonal health. And when I was doing my fixing my hormones phase, I was taking like 20 different tinctures a day and like piecing together this really complex routine. And I just realized this was not sustainable for me. And I know that the mainstream woman cannot understand this and stick to this. So I created Ladywell to create like really comprehensive formulas that were easy and kind of one-stop shop in a way. So our daily hormone balance, which is our hero formula, combines so many things. So adaptogens, amino acids, functional mushrooms, vitamins into one single formula. So you don't have to piece together a lot of different things. So if you're shopping for other brands, you might notice that the formulas have like maybe one or two herbs and a vitamin. So they're just kind of like light on the formulation. And what we try to do is remove like having to stack a lot of different things to get a similar effect or a better effect actually. Because a lot of brands like they want you to buy multiple different supplements because that's how they make their money. But I
Mm-hmm.
believe in simplifying the hormonal care process. Hormones are so complicated enough for us to understand, and we as women should just like really be able to focus in life. So that's really, I would say, what separates us. We formulate from like a lot of different perspectives. So our medical board is made up of really smart women with diverse backgrounds. So people with traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Western medicine, Western herbalism. So really looking at formulations from a lot of different viewpoints differentiates us significantly. I think it's a really valuable thing because there's a lot of ancient wisdom of herbs that have been working for, many, many centuries. And we always choose things that have clinical studies that back them up, but we don't want to just, rely on one thought pattern and just Western medicine because that has let so many women down in the past.
Absolutely.
And then I want to get into the shopping for supplements just really quickly,
Yeah.
because when you look for supplements, you should always be looking for ones that are tested. So you don't want things that might have endocrine disruptors in them, like toxins, molds, heavy metals, because that's just doing the opposite of what you're trying to do, especially with your hormonal health. Endocrine disruptors do the opposite and they like make your hormones worse. So you want to buy from brands that test their products really well. And things like even like small things like storing the capsules in glass jars, like that can make a big difference because if you're storing the products in plastic, that plastic will leach into your supplements. So it's really something to keep in mind. Plastic's cheaper for brands to do. Glass is more expensive, but in the end, it's about quality, and you want to be taking something that's really good for you, especially when you're spending your money and your time on this. So, made in America is also probably the better choice, I'd say, because you can control, you know that it's more tested. It's not like cheap ingredients. A lot of times we have to source our ingredients from across the globe because that's where those native plants are from. But when we do that, we're sourcing tested ingredients. We're testing those ingredients before they go in the product and after the final formulation. So there's just extra steps of due diligence on our end.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you said endocrine disruptors.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about that and how that affects us as women? Not necessarily just with supplements, but the everyday things that we may be putting in our bodies.
Yes, so endocrine disruptors are everywhere. They are so hard to avoid. They're just so integral to our society now. We've become really dependent on plastic, and a lot of the things are kind of hard to avoid. But you can do like just do little pieces at a time, and it will add up to a bigger solve. So just buying foods that's organic, that doesn't have pesticides, I think we all know that's the right move to do. And then trying to avoid plastic food that's in plastic when you buy food from the grocery store, or you're buying food that's heated up in the plastic. So plastic to go containers are really bad. I mean, I know like we're just not going to be able to avoid that most of the time. But minimizing our contact to that and not reheating our food in plastic containers, avoiding nonstick pans. All these things mimic our hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and they will overstimulate hormone receptors. And then things like artificial fragrances, these are really everywhere. And once you start looking for them, you'll see it like in your laundry detergent, just in like skincare items. Like they're put in so many things that they really don't need to be there. Candles. So if you're burning candles, you want to stop doing that. We're in perfume. All these things have these hidden chemicals in them. Like in fertility IV clinics, they have banned perfume. You're not even allowed to wear them. That just shows you like perfume is bad for your hormones and bad for fertility.
Yeah, the candle
Yeah,
thing was a few years ago. My sister was like, "You need to stop burning candles," and I'm like, "Oh man."
that was my saddest one to let go because that was my nightly ritual, just burning candles, and I just had to stop. cold turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the easy
So,
one is receipts. Like we all grab receipts all the time, and the BPA and the receipts, like that's just something you can easily like say no, thank you, and they're just so bad for you. You'll get endocrine disruptors through those. So
yeah, I just heard that the other day and I was like, wow, like it makes sense,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a lot of women struggle with hormone imbalances, but they don't really realize it. I talk a lot and tell, my followers and my listeners to ask for hormonal panels because it's not something that's regularly taken and things like that. But what are some common signs that a woman's hormone might be out of balance, especially going into perimenopause and menopause?
Yeah. We all battle hormone imbalances at some point in our life. 80% of women will experience hormonal imbalances, whether it's, PMS, PMDD, perimenopause. In perimenopause, most women do feel symptoms of it. I think it's about like 75% of us, and it can be, moderate to severe. There's easy things that are signs of hormonal imbalances that you will definitely think about, like if your period is irregular, doesn't come a lot, really heavy sometimes, just like weird period symptoms. Those are obviously hormone related. But then there's things that are a little bit more convoluted, like fatigue, brain fog. That's definitely can be linked to your hormones. If you feel like you're tired even after you get a full night's sleep, or it's around like that 3 o'clock slump, that's can be hormone related. Unexpected weight gain or difficulty losing weight, even if you're doing all the right things, eating the right food, working out, definitely can be hormone related, especially like that spare tire, that
Mhm.
hip and thigh fat. Brain fog, I just mentioned, but like memory issues and trouble concentrating, it definitely didn't perimenopause. This becomes a problem with women. They just like, walk in the room, forget why they're there. It almost feels like you have ADHD and you want to go get diagnosed for that, but it can be just like this perimenopause transition. Sleep disturbances. So I'm in my 40s now. I just turned 40, but like sleep is
Welcome.
thank you. I'm happy to be here, really. Sleep has become an issue for me, and sleep is super common for women in the perimenopause time. And then that is definitely related to your hormones, like just trouble falling asleep, insomnia. A lot of moms have problems sleeping, even if their kids are sleeping through the night. And that's because like we're transitioning, we have kids later in life and we're transitioning from the time of motherhood into perimenopause. So all those symptoms kind of become combined. And then low libido is very much a sign. Mood swings, that's what I had. Mood swings, anxiety, depression, like those emotional symptoms. Just you shouldn't have just like huge swings in your emotional state. If you see it related to your cycle, like it comes and goes at a certain time of month, that's definitely related to your hormones.
Yeah, I feel that, all of it. Um, so what goes into formulating your supplements at Ladywell? Like, how do you ensure their effectiveness and safety? We talked a little bit about, sourcing it from America or making it in America and sourcing it from trusted sources. But like, tell me about your products and how you formulate them.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I believe in I don't know if crowdsourcing is the right word, but bringing in a lot of different women and perspectives to formulate. So I'm an herbalist. I have a lot of a background in just choosing herbs and what works for women's health, but I'm not a doctor, right? So I have a team of medical doctors, naturopathic doctors, functional medicine doctors who bring in those perspectives. And I have an acupuncturist and a nutritionist. So we're looking at formulas from different angles. So while I might be really specialized in herbs, like the functional medicine doctors will specialize in other things. So just really being thoughtful about that process, and then having double checking work, right? So if it was just one person formulating, they might like one of my functional medicine doctors sees like a range of clients in this part of the world. It's nice to get different perspectives because we all have a different client base, and women, while we're very similar, there can be different perspectives and different case studies that we can bring up. And then just looking at modern medicine, like the most recent clinical data on studies of these specific or the specific ingredients that go into our formulas. It's really important for the formulas to be efficacious. Like that's why we're all here. So we choose herbs and other ingredients that do have clinical data that back them up. And you can go to our website. We have a clinical data section where we link out to the studies that speak to these different herbs. And we try to choose ones that we know have these studies, We might include ones that are a little bit lighter on the studies sometimes if we know that they do work well. The thing about the clinical data is, we're not there's not a ton of money. There's not pharmaceutical like companies dumping money into just studying herbs for the fun of it. So there isn't like a vast library of data around many ingredients, but we try to choose the ones that do have that.
Awesome. So have you seen, or tell me about, because I know that you've seen, any surprising or particularly impactful success stories from women using Ladywell? I know there's a lot about getting pregnant, which is amazing. So maybe tell me a little bit about that, and then tell me a little bit about somebody like me. I mean, I do have, and I love it, the magnesium balance. I just got it last week. I like to take a bath every now and then. So like having that in there, it's just kind of like relaxing, and I know that I'm doing something good for my body. So
Yeah, a little self-care.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually doing a consumer study right now for our daily hormone balance because we do want that data to back up what we're saying, and we also want to get feedback on our product. And all the results have been super positive. All the markers we have, which are like mood swings, bloating, acne, all the things that you would think of when you think of PMS, have improved. And so we're going to be releasing that data in about 2 months to the general public. So really excited about that because it's just showing us that what we're doing is working for women. A lot of the feedback we get is, yes, our fertility supplements, people love them because they do work, and that's easy to see the result of, like when you get pregnant. For the daily hormone balance, with adaptogens, things do take time to start working, right? With any supplement, you need to stick to a plan within it for, like, I would say 3 months. But we do get reports of women that are experiencing positive results like within the first few weeks, and especially relates to things like energy, bloating, like that stuff can be like remedied pretty quickly. So like different symptoms have different time periods of going away, I would say. Like, but within one cycle, like usually your mood, it definitely improves. Sleep can improve because it's really full of adaptogens, and adaptogens help with your stress support. Stress is one of the worst things for hormones, and so including adaptogens in your diet will like immediately put into action just improvement of resilience to stress and ability to sleep and all that kind of stuff.
It's amazing. Resilience to stress is something that I think we're all looking for, especially moms in midlife, right?
Yes, yes.
So you mentioned you're a mom of two boys.
Yep.
So you're a busy mom, entrepreneur, trying to build this brand, and now you've taken it to amazing levels. So what was the most rewarding part about building Ladywell as a female founder in the wellness industry?
I would say the results. I think when women come up to me and they go, "Thank you, it has changed my life." I was at a networking event last week, and one of the women in the study, she's from this area, and she saw me and she came up to me and said, "Thank you." She's in the perimenopause phase, and she just thanked me, and it just like it feels good when you're actually creating something that is working and changing people's lives, because it definitely changed my life so much, and that's what the reason why I'm here. So while I'm creating a company, I'm really trying to affect women's life and just make positive change in that way. So that's always the best feeling, is when people appreciate what you're doing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's next for Ladywell? I mean, you said you're doing some work on formulas and getting feedback and everything. So what's next, and what should we buy, I guess? Tell me
Yes.
about your products and what we should buy from you.
Well, right now we're really focused on targeting life stages. So from puberty all the way to menopause. Right now we have our daily hormone balance, which is our hero SKU, which has a powder version and a capsule version. And that really is kind of a foundational piece, and it helps women through all their life stages. And that's why it was designed to do. So you'll layer on other ones on top of that one. If you're in your fertility stage, we have a lot of great fertility supplements, fertility and egg health. But I know we're more in the midlife conversation right now. We are launching a perimenopause specific one that will be coming out this summer, and that's what you'll take in combination with the daily hormone balance. Perimenopause is complicated. It's really hard to just do one supplement that will catch like all these things that we experience, from our mood to our sleep to our hot flashes. It's broad. So our daily hormone balance is what women should definitely take, because a lot of people take that for perimenopause right now successfully. And then we're adding the it's called Perimeno. It's a supplement that will help you with hot flashes and just more targeted perimenopause things. And so very excited about that one. There's definitely a need there. And then we have a sleep supplement coming out, which I'm super stoked for. And this one will help women sleep better because we all need to sleep better. Sleep is the cornerstone of health. And if we're not sleeping good, our hormones will get deregulated and messed up anyways. So if you have a problem sleeping, this will be the one for you. And then we'll be launching more specific menopause related ones that are targeted to people in menopause, like bone health, brain health, libido, sexual wellness type of things.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, that we've come a long way with research and everything, but we're not there yet. You know, if you go back and ask your mom or your grandma about, oh, your symptoms, and they had no idea what perimenopause was or that they were in it. So now that I think that society and us as women, now we want to be so empowered in our 40s and 50s and 60s and beyond. I love this. This is a great product and I'm really excited for it. So if you could give one piece of advice about hormonal health to women, what would it be?
I would say there's two pieces. I would say track your cycle, understand your cycle, because when you understand your cycle, you can start to see patterns if things are going off, changing, irregular. I never tracked my cycle until my mid 30s when I started to figure out my hormones. And I started seeing these patterns and I was like, oh my God, how have I been so blind my whole life? It's obviously related to my cycle. So knowledge is really powerful when it comes to that. And also you'll have data to take to your doctor if you ever want to go see your doctor, and you'll need that stuff. So you'll have a head start there. And then the second piece of advice would be to hack your hormones with supplements. And it's just, we can't, if you ideally in a perfect society, our foods, we'd be able to get everything we need through our diet. But the reality is we're not getting all the magnesium we need through our diet. We can't get necessarily adaptogens through our diet. So taking adaptogens and making sure that you're getting all the vitamins and minerals you need through supplements is really important. Like magnesium, for example, I use the magnesium at night because I know I'm not getting enough magnesium through my diet. And when I do take my magnesium, I definitely can tell the difference. So I would say just supplement and hack your health in that way, because we're all busy and we're probably not nailing it on all sides of everything. So those are my two pieces of advice.
Amazing. Yeah, one simple pill or some magnesium or anything can make you feel so much better. So where can my listeners learn more about you and Ladywell and connect with you and buy your products and look for the new things coming up?
Yeah, you can find us at our website. The website is at getladywell.com. And our social handle is getladywell. And we're on all the social channels. We try to provide a lot of education around your hormones, whatever life stage you're at. We cover them all. It's really important that we're just continuing the conversation and, explain what hormone health is on a basic level as well. And then we create a promo code for your listeners. So Midlife 20, you get 20% off any supplements on our online store. So check us out. We're happy to have you.
Awesome. Well, I will link everything in the show notes. Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be here with us. And everybody go to getladywell.com and get your supplements.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed that. I really love learning about women's health, especially when it's a women founder talking about how we can help ourselves and balance our hormones. So make sure you go check out getladywell.com. I'll link everything in the show notes so you can get that promo code. And until next week, this is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter. See you guys.